welcome to another episode of Master Plan. I am your host, Sekhmet Grant, and today we have a special interview with Nickolas III, CEO of Night Jasmine Productions. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm so blessed. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here.
No problem.
Now, can you tell the world a little bit about yourself and Night Jasmine Productions?
Wow. Well, Night Jasmine Productions is a company based in Manhattan, New York, that specializes in creating cosmetics, theater, and film. It was established September 2014, so it's still relatively new. I come from Philadelphia, West Philadelphia. My family is from Philadelphia, as well as down south, North Carolina, Georgia, and I've been in the theater industry since a child, and my major in college was theater and film, and I fell in love with directing and writing. And when I was a teenager, I used to spend my mother's money that she would give me on cosmetics. I would go to Lord & Taylor, I would go to Macy's, I would go to King of Prussia Mall. Anybody know about King of Prussia Mall? Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, and I would just be buying all these fragrances and designer clothes. And I said, one day I want to have my own cosmetics business, and I want to write and direct movies and plays and be a Broadway and Hollywood director.
I love that. I love that.
That was my goals ever since I was a teenager.
Wow. How are you in that process?
Well, I've been so blessed by God to be able to direct a lot of off-Broadway plays in New York City and other cities as well. Woody King Jr.'s New Federal Theater in New York City was very instrumental in my development as a director and a writer, and I've directed places like the Copacabana, of course Woody King Jr.'s New Federal Theater. I've also did work for the Negro Ensemble Company, the Riverside Theater in New York, just a lot of other places as well. But there was a point where I decided to strike out and start my own company, which encompasses more than just theater. And it's just an extension of what I love as an artist. I love to smell good. I love fragrances. I love beauty and cosmetics, and I love the theater, and I love movies and creating great art to entertain people.
For sure. Tell me this, what actually made you go out and start your own company? Like, why?
Wow.
What was the need? What was missing that you had to go out and create?
Well, the need was, there were several needs, I should say, and I've always been an entrepreneur at heart ever since a child. I remember selling M&Ms as a child and getting allowance, and just having that gift to just take charge and be my own boss.
Right.
And even when I was in college, I was a part of the theater association, and one of the professors allowed me to direct a scene. We were working on a script. You know how in college they scene development and things like that. And she actually let me direct the piece that year. And I was just like, this is what I want to do. But 3 years ago, I was just in a transition where I got to a point in my young career that I thought I would be a step further than my expectations, I should say.
Okay.
Waiting for a call to direct somebody else's show, submitting my screenplays and scripts to people, hoping that they would want to commission it or option it. And not that I haven't had offers like that, but it's the same thing that actors go through, waiting for their next, callback.
That's right.
Directors and writers experience the same thing, especially when you're young and when you are artists of color. So I decided, I had a different publicist at the time, and I said, you know what, I want to create some fragrances, and I will never forget it. I met her at a restaurant in Harlem by accident. She was doing some work for one of her clients, and I was waiting on one of my producers. And so I met this publicist, and I was in school to create fragrances. And I was already directing and writing, directing for other people and things like that. But then once I met the publicist, I told her what my goals was to create fragrances and have a company that would cater to theater, film, and cosmetics. And so she jumped on it, and she was the one to help me come up with the name of the production company.
Okay.
You should name it Night Jasmine Productions.
Why?
Well, the first cosmetics line we came out with was Night Jasmine, which is a perfume. And it's made, the main notes is from the jasmine flowers. And if you know about the jasmine flowers, that great scent from the jasmine flowers happens to bloom at night.
Okay.
And so, and it's only blooms in the summertime. It's like a seasonal flower.
Wow.
And it's one of the most expensive
Summer
flowers
nights
that you can buy.
Okay.
And it's very rare that you find the jasmine plant, but it blooms at night. You get that awesome scent. And so that's when why don't we name it Night Jasmine? Victoria's Secret they used to have a product called Blue Jasmine. I think that was the name of it. But to distinguish and to make mine a little different, I spelt the name Jasmine wrong, because jasmine perfume is very well known.
Right.
Everybody knows about the jasmine,
Right.
the ones that's into cosmetics.
Right.
But I named it Jazmin,
Right.
Night, Night, Night Jasmine.
Right.
And then because we also produce theater and film, Night Jasmine Productions. So it was a catchy name.
Right.
And
I like it. It fits you. I like it.
oh,
I like
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that you needed my approval, clearly.
Oh, wow.
You're fine.
Yeah. And since then we created Night King, which is the male cologne, which is the male companion of Night Jasmine. And we've been instrumental in producing even the classic play, A Streetcar Named Desire. We produced that.
Okay.
We also produced an original drama called Night Jasmine. That was a part of the Thespians Play Festival, which is a big festival that happens every year. And also, we're working on a couple TV pilots.
Okay, good for you.
And we also we have other deals that I really can't talk about.
I know how that works.
Legally, but we have, since the company has started, we have produced 2 fragrances. We also have scented candles and the scented soaps with the signature scent of the fragrances.
Good for you.
And we produced so far 4 off-Broadway plays
Wow.
that mounted main stage.
Wow.
And a couple commercials.
So there's a lot of questions I want to ask, a lot of business questions I want to ask.
Okay.
And because you have fragrance, you have the theater, you can kind of generalize it for you, or you can for yourself, or you can, for the fragrance is this, for the theater is that. One, how do you pick an idea? Because you're a creative person, so I know you have ideas going through your mind all the time.
Yes.
So how do you decide this is what we want to do?
Well, you know what? I really pray. I pray, and
That's right.
I read my Bible, and I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And so I really ask him for direction.
That's right.
For my creativity. What is it? Because there's, like you said, there's a lot of things, especially as an artist, there's so many ideas that you got going through your head. But, you know, when you plan from a spiritual perspective, I feel like it puts things in proper order, where the right time is for this project versus another project.
Right.
So it really comes from having that foundation of praying and seeking God, because I do it sometimes. I'd be like, God, I want to do this right now, and I get this.
God will tell you,
No,
no.
not right now. Focus on this project
That's right,
first.
that's right.
Because He gives us the brilliant mind to create.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time.
So that's really where it comes from. That prayer And I literally, I pray every day about projects and what is.
Right, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Tell me this, Night Jasmine Productions. Since I've known you, I've seen multiple people that are associated with Night Jasmine Productions doing different things, makeup, wardrobe. One, how big is your team, and then how do you manage that?
Well, my team is, we have a staff that caters to the 3 divisions that I established in terms of the theater division. So we have costume designers, we have a casting director, film division, same thing. Cosmetics, we have models. So those 3 divisions, but we're still new. People have came and went, like any company, growing pains. And I ask myself all the time, how do I manage? Sometimes I'd be like, it's like raising, I feel like I'm raising kids. I don't even have no kids. With this company, I'm like, it's taking all of my money and I'm doing everything on my own sometimes, I feel like. And I'd be like, oh, but it pays off.
Right. Why do you think people want to work with you?
I think it's the energy, and I think the art is really good. And I'm not saying it because it's my art. I just really believe that what my talent is really good, and it gravitates to people.
Right.
And who doesn't love to smell good?
Right.
So the fragrance is almost like a drawing to what is that, and people are like, oh, you created this? Oh, this is they random strangers. They'll be like, what is that you have on? And then it opens the door for another conversation. Like, they look at me like they expect, oh, this is Chanel or this is Versace. I got this from. But then when I say, oh, this is Night Jazz, where do I find it? Oh, I'm the creator. You can find it. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Oh wow, this is what you do, and then it opens the door. Oh well, I'm an artist, and we do plays and film and fragrances.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What advice would you have to a budding creative person out there that's watching this, and maybe they want to write, they want to do theater, they're just creative in general? What advice would you give them?
Stick to it. You got to stick to it no matter what.
That's right. That's right.
Because you will have obstacles, especially in the beginning, the growing stages. It's like the terrible 2s, the horrible 3s, the painful 4s, the graceful 5s. I just made that up, but
keep going though.
But I'm just like, it's like you can't give up. And I'll never forget this producer, a prominent producer in New York City. I ran into him one time. I was going to see a play, and he was on his way out, and I was on my way up the steps, and I was just so in awe just to run into him, and I said, do you have any advice for me? He said, stay crazy and stick to it.
I love that.
And I
love that.
He said, stay crazy and stick to it.
All right. I'm going to take that advice.
And I'm like, and then he also said, because if you don't, you'll be trying to get a 9-to-5 job.
That's right.
And that has stuck with me. He told me that back in 2009.
Man.
He said, if you don't, you'll be trying to get a 9-to-5 job. Stay crazy and stick to it. And I've stuck to that advice.
Stay crazy, boo. Stay crazy. Tell the audience where they can find you.
You can find our Instagram page, Night King, Night Jasmine. We're also a proud one of the sponsors of the Master Plan TV show.
Yes.
My girl Monica is making big moves in this day and age. Night King, Night Jasmine. And also, just hit us up on that Instagram page, Night King, Night Jasmine, NIGHTKING, NIGHTJAZMIN, right here.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now that was another interview. Stay tuned. You're saying, yo, I'm living my life and